ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, former NFL quarterback. Let's take a look at his analysis and breakdown with video on how the secondary of the Browns is working together.
Now this is down in the red zone, and they're going to try to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey. This is where the leverage shows up the most. Okay, the leverage is right here. These defenders are playing outside leverage on all three of those pass catchers. They're trying to restrict those guys from going outside and actually allow them to catch the ball on any type of in-breaking route. RC, talk to me about these two guys.
That they're doing? What I love that they're doing, if you look at the outside corners, now it's Greg Newsome who started in the slot and Mark Emerson Jr. to the top. They understand that deep in the red zone, the out-breaking cuts are going to be the most difficult for Brock Purdy to hit. So they understand with inside leverage, they can now do what's called a slip technique, which is slide under the outside wide receivers and undercut them, making Brock Purdy have to put a little air on those out-breaking routes.
I love that. And this, if we just took this one-on-one matchup for itself, McCaffrey's running what we call a Texas or an angle route, and he's open. You would say he beats the linebacker, but that's not the case. Now, why are those guys playing outside leverage? Because they have a safety who's going to drop down and be a help defender. His job, just have vision on the quarterback or any in-breaking route, and you can drive on that. Because the reality is this is a completion for the 49ers offense, but it's not a first down because everyone played to that proper leverage. They funneled the ball to the inside to that extra help defender.
In case that is a really good explanation that's easy to understand of how this secondary is playing and the communication that's going on between the members of that secondary.
Yeah, you just see a well-coached unit. You're seeing everyone. That's an obvious coaching point. Is when you notice their leverage too, and it's in uniformity. They're across the board. They're either outside or inside. And you see that switch depending on the situation. And as they got closer to the end zone, you've seen the leverage there. And it also speaks to having a true free safety who can monitor the middle of the field and make up for those deficiencies. And that's what allows them to play such heavy man, is they have someone like Juan Thornhill who can really patrol the middle of the field and make up for those differences.
Yeah, and McLeod can do it if he's not in there as well. That's another skill set. All right, so in conjunction with that, Dan Orlovsky then explains why that man-to-man coverage helps out the defensive line and how the line helps out the man-to-man coverage.
Okay, Myles Garrett is here. We have a defensive tackle here. We always want to slide to Myles Garrett. We're going to take the center and left guard and slide to that guy. Left tackle, one-on-one with Myles Garrett, okay? Now, here's the challenge. We actually want to go 3-on-2. We want to go help with Myles Garrett. But that defensive tackle starts here and goes inside. What it does, he occupies both those guys. Now, Myles Garrett is one-on-one. Look, the guard, he's actually getting his eyes there, but he's too late. That forces the ball clockwise to get out of Brock Purdy's hands. So that leverage attached to Myles Garrett is paramount.
And again, that's a really good illustration of it. That's Trent Williams that couldn't, who's a really good left tackle who couldn't hold up against Myles Garrett.
Yeah, future Hall of Famer in Trent Williams. And it was, I know Myles didn't get home for any sacks, but he affected the game from the beginning to the end of that game, just winning rep after rep. But this is something that doesn't get talked about enough, is what happened over the last couple of seasons. It always felt disjointed, the pass rush and the coverage. Now you're seeing a marriage of the two, and that's got Jim Schwartz's fingerprints all over it. And personnel. You get a player like Dalvin Tomlinson who can force double teams, who can occupy two blockers and allow Myles to be singled up. In the past, that would have been just a standard double. You'd have seen the guard slide out and attempt to get a piece of Myles Garrett. Doesn't even have that option now because of someone like Dalvin Tomlinson.